I guess you good to go?
Yeah, I'm good to go.
All
Obviously,
right.
do you lead it in your way, and I'll just kind of follow along as usual, and I'll just explore this new podcasting style for you. Let's do it.
Absolutely. Um, Hawks Anonymous, director's cut from Dusk Till Dawn. Scene one, take one, action.
It's so cute.
I love that thing.
I love it too. Never change.
It's such like a piece of shit. I paid like $3 for it on Amazon.
So worth it.
It's made in Taozhou, China. It's like
Really?
made
It tells
out of
you
like,
where? It usually never tells you the city in which China. In China.
yeah, it's Taozhou. I don't even know where that is, but yeah, no, it's cool. Got the chalk on it and everything, but so it's Ant and Mo. Long time coming. Got Mo back on here.
Hey,
How's it going, man? It's been a
it's
while.
good, man. It's been way too long. It's been way
Way
too
too
long.
long.
But it's good to be back. I missed you guys. I missed all of our viewers. But it's all five of them. We missed you. So yeah, let's get right into it, man. Let's waste no more time.
All right, sweet. I got a. Oh no, you got a question for me, don't you?
I do have a question for you. Thank you for reminding me. What you watching?
Well, I have been watching Better Call Saul. I'm almost done with the second season because the third season just started and they threw it up on Netflix. So I've been catching up on that. Have you watched it? I feel like you have.
I dabbled. I think I just watched the first season, or maybe I up until like the very end of the first season.
Okay.
That was at a point in my life where I wasn't watching a lot of television to begin with, so I kind of fell off on it.
Right.
But it's not that I didn't like it at all. It interested me even before, apparently it got better.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Honestly, the first season was a little slow.
Yeah.
Second season has definitely picked up, and I'm almost at the end. And you started to see the older characters come back. Mike was there from the start. You got Hector and Tuco Salamanca are in it this season. And then the third season, the one that just started up, apparently Gustavo Fring makes an appearance. So I'm excited for that. So I'm trying to catch up.
Oh, so
But
he's not in it full time. He just makes an appearance.
well, no, he pops up, like he starts to make appearance, like he starts to be involved. I guess it's getting closer to where Walter gets involved.
Now let me ask you this: is Brian coming back?
Yeah, he is at some point. I don't know exactly like what season. Because I heard it's supposed to take place before, during, and after the whole Breaking Bad saga.
So yeah, it would be crazy to see the during and after of when,
Right.
Walter's around, because you get to I'm gonna have to start watching it again if that happens.
Absolutely. It's on Netflix. You should check it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're so I guess we'll get into the movie because it's not late.
What movie do we do again?
So as you know, this is director's cut. We're doing Tarantino movies.
Wait. Time out.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Say this was called
Director's Nut. Director's Nut.
All right.
I told myself when I came into this I was going to say Director's Nut, and I spaced out. I'm sorry.
It's fine. You even did it on the Facebook post. I had to correct it for you. I don't know if you saw it.
I know. I'm sorry.
It's fine, man. I mean, you just forget the title of our series. It's not a big deal at all. Director's Cut could be a show on any television network. And
you're right.
Like Director's Cut edition. Like I've seen that a billion fucking times. Do we want to be like everyone else, AP?
No, we're unique.
We're unique.
We are unique New York. That's us. Well, me at least. Director's Nut.
Thank God.
You're doing Tarantino.
Don't do it again.
I said nut.
Yeah, no, I know. I said don't do it again.
Oh, I won't. Now that you've scolded me publicly,
yeah,
you publicly shame me. I'll remember. But we're doing From Dusk Till Dawn. Kind of I guess a cult movie. I don't
Is
know
it a cult movie?
Classic. I think it has a little bit of a cult following.
Does it? I was
not like not like some other cult movies, but it's up there. But cheating a little bit because this actually wasn't directed by Tarantino. Realized it after we picked it.
Yeah.
Robert Rodriguez, they're good friends. They work a lot together. But Tarantino is in the movie. I guess we'll get to the actors a little bit.
Yeah, more than he usually is, right?
Yeah, no, he's I mean, he's like a main character for the majority of the movie, or at least half the movie.
Yeah.
It's him. We got George Clooney's his brother, which Tarantino's character must have been dropped on his head a bunch of times when he was a kid to be related to George Clooney.
Right, 100%.
Yeah, that's the only way I can see that working out.
Richard Gecko. Not to mention Quentin Tarantino is playing himself.
Yeah.
Positive.
Well, like a little bit more perverse version of himself. No, him? Just him?
Him.
Okay.
I mean, I couldn't stop thinking that. Like, I kept being like, oh, the director Quentin Tarantino is in the shot. You know, like he was never Richard fucking Gecko to me. He was just playing himself. He has a foot fetish. He rapes and kills people, and I'm positive of it.
Pretty accurate snapshot of the Quentin Tarantino we know and love.
Makes great movies, but he definitely has killed a person. Have you seen an interview? You've seen his interviews, right?
I've seen his interviews. He always seems like coked up, like
fucking insane,
jacked up. Yeah,
I would put serious money on the fact that he's killed someone. Like if there was like a Vegas odds of like him getting busted in the next couple of years for you would just murder old women.
Yeah, but not even like just like a gunshot. It's like something really sick. Like
no, just like this movie, he would kill and rape them and like
or like choke them out with like a shoelace or something.
Yeah, he's insane.
Something weird.
He's insane.
Yeah.
Anyway, he obviously his acting jobs are always garbage, but they're like cute in a way, like oh, look at the director's trying to act, but like he does it in a way where it's it's funny. But I guess in this movie, he's obviously not the director, so he should just be critiqued as an actor, which he is a terrible one.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Even though he's not listed as a director, he definitely had like a hand in this movie.
Oh no! I mean, when Quentin Tarantino's in your movie, he basically directs it. I'm convinced that he had more input than what's his name, Rodriguez.
Yeah, Robert.
Yeah,
Bobby.
Although you can tell that the quality of the movie is a lot less than a regular Tarantino movie.
Right. Yeah, and that's
in that regard. I mean, it's not his movie.
Yeah, I mean Robert Rodriguez. That's kind of his I don't know. That's kind of his theme, I guess. I don't know. I'm trying to think. What do you mean? Like I don't know. Any director kind of leaves their stamp on a movie. There's usually like a kind of a way they shoot it or whatever. I mean,
of course, like his style, I guess. But I don't know. I thought that his style was kind of. I mean, we can get into it a little bit later, but I thought some of his like switches and mood in the movie were not as good as Tarantino, and I felt like it was like literally watching a knockoff Tarantino movie. And I also forgot that he didn't direct it. So like halfway through the movie, until I looked at the IMDb page, I was judging it as a Tarantino movie, and I was like, oh, I remember this movie was a little bit better than this.
Yeah, and I mean, keep in mind this is the same guy that directed Machete. Yeah, he did Spy Kids. I didn't realize that. That's pretty.
Did you really?
Yeah, he did all the Spy Kids movies. He did
the only thing I remember from the Spy Kids movie is they had a microwave that made food that you like press a button, and food would just appear.
I actually had a conversation with someone about that the other day. I don't know why Spy Kids came up, but that exact microwave we were talking about.
Really? That like imprinted itself in my brain where I think about it like once a week.
See, the one that I remember was they had like a suitcase with every kind of currency in the world.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. They just like had money. That's what I want. I was like, I'll take that suitcase.
And there was like a creepy backwards played song, right?
Yeah, something like that. That was a wild movie.
Yeah, that was something else. That was
great.
It's funny. That's like probably the one movie I've only seen once, but I remember it so well, and I saw that like 15 years ago.
Because it's kind of like a trippy movie for like.
It is. It's kind of creepy almost. I don't know. It's a weird one.
Aren't there guys that have like thumbs for heads and they're like
evil? Dude, it's a weird movie. It's
definitely. That might be on the to-do list. Rewatch that on acid.
Rewatch Spy Kids. Wow.
On acid.
That's something.
Yeah, but I digress. Harvey Keitel.
Harvey Keitel. He's the hero's champion.
He is the people's champion.
When he says something with passion, I get sexually excited. When Harvey Keitel, what did he say? He said, "You fool." When Harvey Keitel says "you fool," like I don't know, like just any exclamation he makes, there's something about the way he delivers every line. I don't know.
It's spot on.
I think he might be my favorite actor.
You know, I wish he was in some bigger movies because I really only know him from Tarantino movies.
He's in a few. I mean, I can remember seeing him in movies. I couldn't name them right now.
Right,
like that. But I've definitely seen him in a couple others where he did a very good job.
Right, like you know, I'm sure he's definitely been in other movies where he's been good. But you think about, you know, George Clooney has other movies. Samuel Jackson, who's in a lot of these movies. Kurt Russell,
for sure.
You know, but yeah, the people's champ. I mean, Selma Hayek. I mean, come on.
That scene was something else. She didn't even look like herself if she was so hot in that scene.
Yeah, I mean, that was like peak Selma.
Yeah, that was her in her prime. Never has looked better than that.
Yeah, I mean this movie was made in '96.
I was 2.
I was 4.
Yeah.
She was born in '66, so I guess she was 30 at the time. That was like
wow. She's like at the time. How old is she now, bro?
She's 50.
That's insane.
What?
That's insane. She's looked the same for a long time.
Yeah.
That's got to be some kind of plastic surgery there. She was 30 when she did that movie? I could have sworn she was like 19.
I mean.
Wow. Good for you, Selma.
Yeah.
Round of applause for Selma. Can you edit in like a crowd clapping?
Yeah, I'll try.
By the way, can I bring it up now since we're talking about Selma? I know we said we'd change up the style a little bit. Let's talk foot fetish.
Foot fetish, yeah. We'll do.
We confirm the theory. I think we're 3 out of 3 for foot fetish.
Oh, we are 3 out of 3. This was probably the most graphic one.
There was multiple foot fetish eye.
Yeah, foot fetishes.
For fetishes.
Yeah, I mean the one that I remember the most, because I think we were saying before, both of us watched this movie in like 3 parts. Like,
yeah.
I watched the first half like a month ago.
Yeah, I'm all over the place with it.
Yeah,
I think I split it up into a week apart. But yeah.
But the big one is when she goes up to Richard, right? That's Tarantino's character.
Of course, he gets it. You know, he's the one that
exactly. He I mean, that is not a mistake. But she puts her foot in his mouth.
Yep.
And just pours the liquor down her leg.
Yep.
I mean, if you're into feet,
that's your
you're not getting it any better than that.
No, that scene was sculpted like literally, like Quentin Tarantino was in his bedroom masturbating and writing that scene.
Yeah, no, that's his
that's his deepest, darkest fantasy.
Right, exactly. To have Selma Hayek stuff her maybe ankle deep in his mouth.
Yeah, in front of all his friends, like drinking whiskey, like he's the man. You know, like you can tell he has self-confidence issues just by his interviews.
Yeah.
So like just the fact that in front of a group of people, she picked Quentin Tarantino to stick her foot in. You know, where like if I was Selma Hayek doing a little stripper dance, pouring whiskey down from my foot, I would definitely put my foot in George Clooney's mouth. But no, she went for Quentin Tarantino. What a surprise! But one with the foot fetish.
Well, I mean, playing devil's advocate as a stripper, you think you'd want to go for the more desperate guy, desperate looking at least, because he'd probably give you more money.
Yeah, I guess. But like, also strippers are so surprised when there's a good-looking man in a strip club that they gravitate towards him. I mean, I've seen it happen. I'm not saying that I was that person, but I've been in a strip club and seen like a good-looking young guy walk in.
Sweet humble brag over there.
Yeah.
They just gravitate towards me. I don't know what it is.
Like, you know, as a stripper, we don't have to get into it, but as a stripper, can you imagine how many like gross, desperate guys they see on a regular basis? When they see like a regular looking, attractive man, they're like, oh my God. Like, you know, it's like, it's a breath of fresh air.
It is a valid argument. I can't disagree with that.
And I don't know why. There was something about this movie that kept me just like being a stickler for reality. Like I was like, oh, that doesn't make sense. Like, I don't know why. I usually don't.
This is not the movie to do that with.
No, not at all. Not at all. But I'll get into why in a little bit. I just thought we had to address the foot fetish. I want to bring up the second scene in which the foot fetish was shown when Quentin Tarantino is creepily staring at Harvey Keitel's daughter.
Mm.
You remember when they're like in the van and like
Right.
he's just thinking about raping her because like that's what Quentin
Yeah, he
Tarantino
just
does.
imagines her being like, "Fuck me."
Yeah,
He's just like,
100%.
"Oh, okay."
He believes it too, which is like a crazy accurate look into the mind of a rapist because like maybe that's how it is. But he goes directly at the feet, like he's just like looking at her feet the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 for 3. That's as much evidence as we need to proclaim Quentin Tarantino a foot deviant.
You could even argue like 4 for 3, just because like 2 in this movie, but
So yeah, 100%. And I mean, we can make a little segment of it. Foot fetish.
Yeah,
of the
I'm gonna
be
put
in
a
every
tally.
movie.
I'm gonna put a tally. Hopefully, I remember what this means. I'm just putting a 4 for 3.
It'd be crazy if there were one in every movie and it was just like sneaky and we just noticed it now.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
now,
I've noticed a couple of them before, but now like I'm starting to watch all of them. Like like I'm looking for the foot thing. So it's
right. And if I remember correctly, there's definitely foot stuff in Kill Bill, and there's definitely foot stuff in Inglourious Bastards. Under the table was she giving him a foot?
Okay,
stuff?
yeah.
But definitely in Kill Bill, there's some foot stuff. But they zoom in on Uma Thurman's feet a lot because I remember like, oh, she has gross feet. Why do they keep showing her feet?
Well, I mean, just right off the top of my head, there's a scene where she's in the pussy wagon trying to get her toes to move. She's just staring at her feet.
Here you go. Yeah.
The proof is in the pudding.
Yep. We got foots on foots. By the way, can we talk about the foot fetish, like in general? As I said, do you understand it? Because I've never understood it. But it seems to be the most popular fetish in the world.
I don't. And you know what? I'm going to introduce a new segment here, which you haven't heard before, and it's called Ants Rants. Okay? It's where I go and rant, and I guess I'm going to do it. And so because I did this once last night on the Billions podcast, me and Paul do. And he was like, well, what if I want to go on a rant? I'm like, you can't do sound right. So we decided that if you wanted to go on a rant, it has to be Mo's Ants Rants.
Oh, okay. It's kind of like I got you.
Like the hated face, like Mo's like hated face. I go like, oh, I have a Mo's hated face. Like,
gotcha.
You know, so it's named after me, just as the hated face is named after you.
Okay.
But yeah, so Ants Rants on feet, foot fetishes. Yeah, I don't get it. Feet are gross. I mean, they're literally, one of the grossest things we encounter on a daily basis is the ground. And that's the only part of our body that touches the ground is the feet.
Yeah.
Keep in mind that they're also, in socks and shoes, probably sweating, gross. Why would you want to put it in your mouth? But my guess is it's probably the most like accepted one just because it's like PG. It's not like, oh, like sticking things in my butt or like,
right.
It's like, it's just their feet. What's the big deal? Like if there was a lot of people had earlobe fetishes, that would be normal. It's weird, but it'd be normalized. Yeah, I don't know. There's just nothing to me sexually attractive about feet. I'm not repulsed by them. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like, if you like show me a pair of feet, I'm going to freak out, but it's just like, I don't get it.
I 1000% agree. I think it also has a lot to do with the fact that me and you both have gross feet. I guess as like a man, like especially, I mean, I have particularly gross feet, but in general, I guess we don't see them as attractive ever. What I will say is there's a lot of pleasure in feet. I don't like using that word, but it fits. Not in a sexual sense, but like your feet is where you hold a lot of stress and a lot of weight. So like getting a foot massage is fire, but I don't think that pleasure translates into sexual pleasure at all.
Yeah,
I don't understand it.
Getting a foot massage is fire, but not giving one. No one wants to give a foot massage.
Oh no. Yeah, 100%.
That's what I'm saying. Like these people that have the foot fetish, like they want to like touch the feet and they want to like put it in their mouth. Like, no, fuck that, dude. Like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
No feet for me.
Yeah, I'm out on the feet.
Out on the feet.
We'll keep looking out for them.
If everybody just had nubs, I'd be happy with that.
See, no, I disagree with that. But
no nubs.
No nubs. I'm more against nubs than feet. Nubs
I guess
freak me out. You ever see
we'll draw the line.
Nub in public, like you see like someone with just a nub. I can't stop looking at it. It's like a dark hole for my eyes.
Yeah, so
sucks me in.
Funny story. Going on a little sidetrack here. When we used to work at Inc. 2000, so we used to work at the same company together, me and Mo. way back when.
Little history time.
A little history, story time. Before you started working there, we had a Christmas party in Atlantic City, and we were down there, and I ended up sharing a room with my buddy Andrew at the Tropicana.
Okay.
Yeah, and you know, Mike, his room was at like a Budget Inn down the street, a little bit more than down the street. But you know, after we were at the reception hour or whatever, in the casino, we ended up going back there, hanging out for a little bit, bunch of people, and then I decided at like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning to like walk all the way across like Atlantic City back to my hotel, and definitely shouldn't have been there in that area.
Yeah, it's a rough area to walk.
It was. All I'm gonna say is it was really dark out.
I got you. Yeah,
I'll leave it at that. But
fucking racist.
I'm walking, and this guy comes up to me, and I'm like, oh shit, this like kind of short little guy, and he's like, yo, what's up, man? Like my name, I think his name was Terrell. I don't want to like sound racist.
He was black. All right, AP, we got it.
He was, and he comes up to me. He's like, yo, my name's.
I love how your first description of him was short.
He was short. He was a little guy.
What, you not see color, AP?
No, man. I run through red lights all the time. I've been in like 5 car accidents this week. Anyway, so he comes up to me and he's like, yo, I'm walking that way. Can I walk with you?
Wow. I would have pooped.
Well, I was like, I didn't know what to say. And he goes like, and he goes to give me a fist bump, and it's just a nub.
Did you bump the nub?
I bumped the nub.
Oh, I would have never bumped the nub.
I was drunk enough, and I felt bad for the guy that he just had a nub, and he like shoved it in my face. So I was like,
Dude, I'm like 60% sure that if you touch a nub, you might get a nub. You know, I'm pretty sure nubs are contagious.
My wrist was kind of hurting.
Dude,
like next week, I think if it was
a nub, looking at it is bad. You can't touch it. I mean, he ran. You could probably outrun someone with a nub. You get out of there, man. You don't touch it.
he had his legs. I mean,
but still, it throws off all the equilibrium.
The aerodynamics.
Yeah, he'd probably run. Was he missing his left or his right nub? It was probably his right nub. So he probably.
I want to say it was his right.
He probably runs to the left because he's lighter on the right side.
He just kind of like drifts as he runs.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
dude.
I mean,
my God,
I do want to say, I do think that he helped me get back to my hotel safe, because like no one kind of bothered us the rest of the time. Maybe because they saw us in a group. Maybe
because he had a fucking nub and no one wants to walk with him with a nub.
Hey, if that stops me from getting robbed and shot at 4 in the morning in the middle of Atlantic City, I'll touch a nub. I'll touch 3 nubs. I don't care.
Oh my God.
But yeah, that's story time. I don't remember what we were talking about. Nubs. Feet. But okay, I've had enough of the feet for now. Let's finish up these actors. We'll get into the movie.
Okay.
So I just want to shout out Juliette Lewis, who plays Harvey Keitel's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is about her. She just kind of does it for me. She just kind of has that like dumb redneck look. I don't know.
That came out a little creepy.
she does it for me. I don't know what you want me to say.
I'm happy. It was funny because near the end of the movie, I even said it out loud. I was like, oh, she kind of reminds me of like Jennifer Lawrence a little bit.
A little bit more ditzy, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
Even like the looks sometimes, like in certain shots and certain camera angles, like kind of look like her a little bit. But no, I definitely didn't hate her. She was just like a dumb, kind of like a dumb bimbo throughout the whole movie, but she was all right. Yeah,
that's who she usually plays. She was also in one of the National Lampoon. I want to say it was the Christmas Vacation she was in. And she was just kind of like a dumb bimbo in that too.
Yeah.
But you know, whatever. That's your role. You play it. Cheech Marin played like three roles in this.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. One of the goats. Danny Trejo. Love him. Don't know why. He's just that stereotypical Mexican guy that just kind of. He just makes.
Mexican guy.
He is. Well, yeah. I mean, like maybe like a cartel Mexican guy.
What did he play?
Danny Trejo?
Yeah.
He was in Machete. He was in Spy Kids
Oh, that's his
also.
name. I know him as Machete.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay.
Danny Trejo, yeah, the guy that
Okay.
looks like he took a
Yeah,
cheese grater to the face.
just the, oh my god, yeah, he's terrible. He was
Yeah,
in a commercial too. He's also, it's weird, like he's he looks like better older now, but you could tell he like did Botox to preserve his ugliness. He was like, I can't waste this face, you know. I'm gonna flash freeze this monstrosity.
he just got another piece of leather and stretched it over his
Yes.
face.
He looks like an old shoe. Yeah, he's bad. He's got real bad acne too.
Yeah,
But hey, like you made a character out of it, and now he's worth millions. So good for him.
yeah, good for him. And then the last, last person I want to mention. I don't know what else this guy has been in, but Tom Savini, aka Sex Machine,
Sex machines.
absolutely perfect for that role.
Yeah, no one better.
Yeah,
He's a dog.
he's a dog. He's got the. We'll get into him a little bit as the story goes on, but
When he introduced himself to Harvey Keitel's daughter, that was probably the best line of the movie.
Sex Machine. What did he say?
Sex machine, pleased to meet you.
I mean, if that's your name, you gotta rock with it.
You gotta go with it, man.
Now, it can't be a self-appointed nickname, but if someone gives you the name Sex Machine, you gotta rock it.
Why anyone would, I don't know. Because like nicknames are really given to you by your boys, and your boys are never gonna give you that nickname. So I'm gonna go ahead and like you never call it. No matter how good your boy fucks, you're not calling him a sex machine because that's gay. Because that implies you had sex with him. So
that's why I call you behind your back. Sex machine. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to mean that you had sex with the guy, but maybe like you just noticed that he has a lot of sex, like a machine that's made for sex.
Your nicknames for your boys are never supposed to be a compliment. It's always something negative. When literally, I think that's the rules of nicknames. Like you can't give someone a nickname on something positive. That's fucking gay, for lack of a better term. Gay is bad, but it's just, you know.
Yeah. It's like if I just started calling you cutie or something, it's just like, oh, that's a little weird.
It's unacceptable. Unacceptable.
It's like, hey, cutie.
Unless your boy was really fucking ugly, and then it'd be a funny nickname.
Right.
Like Machete Ugly. Like that should be his nickname, Cutie.
Cutie.
That's like Big Sexy. Who does he play for now? He used to play for the Mets.
Oh yeah, Bartolo. Yeah, he's on the Braves now.
Right. If you give a guy like a compliment as a nickname, he clearly does not deserve it, and it's obvious to everyone.
Right. Or like when you know a guy that's like 400 pounds, and they call him tiny or something.
A sex machine would be a great nickname for a virgin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if your boy that hasn't got laid yet,
Sex Machine. Yeah. Let's go find my virgin friends and start calling him Sex Machine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess we'll get into the movie. So it picks up in the liquor store, right?
Yeah. Gets right into the action, which I like.
Yeah, the liquor store, the cop walks in, he's just kind of buying his liquor, which I think is kind of funny how the cop is just like, he's buying his liquor and he's going to hop back in the car and start driving around. Like,
I'll put money on the fact that 50% of Florida police do the same thing to this day.
Yeah, I would put money on the fact that 50% of Florida does that.
Yeah, including the cops, for sure.
Yeah, including the cops. But yeah, in the background, you got Seth and Richard. Richard, right? Yeah, Seth and Richard. They're holding some hostages. They're so it turns out they're on the run. They've been committing a string of robberies, kind of bouncing around. They've killed like 16 people.
Right.
So they're clearly violent, dangerous people. And
well, no, I think it's one violent, dangerous person and his brother. But yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So that kind of down the line we start to kind of see that. But in the beginning, Seth or George Clooney, whichever. Yeah, he's Seth, I think. He he's a lot of talk.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he won't do something, but he's the one who will put the gun in your face and be like, "Don't make me fucking shoot you."
Yeah.
Because he realizes that he doesn't want to shoot people, so he'd rather just scare people. So he's definitely a little bit more bite than bark.
Yeah.
but they end up taking Gloria. Where did they get Gloria from? The old lady. They get from the bank.
I want to say they do get it from the bank because she was in the trunk the whole time.
Okay, right. She was in the trunk. Yeah. Sorry, people. Like I said, watched the first half of this movie like a month ago.
Yeah.
But so yeah, they, that's where you really first kind of see that there's something wrong with Tarantino's character.
Yeah.
Just how they have this, innocent lady that they just took hostage, and again, they're just supposed to just take her hostage so they could get away. Tarantino ends up raping and murdering her. He can't help himself.
Just literally can't help himself, and
Yeah.
it's crazy because like that's a drastic turn because you see him kind of violent and irrational in the gas station because like he decides to just shoot the place up because he's he doesn't trust things, but then you slowly see the character devolve into pretty much a monster. Like it was a kind of a pretty crazy turn, but
yeah, and that's where he gets shot, right, when they're in the liquor store
in the hand. Yeah,
so he gets shot in the hand. That'll come back a little bit later, but so at this point he's kind of wounded, and then he ends up raping and murdering the lady. But and even a little bit before that, Clooney's talking to him, and he's just like kind of almost giving him a pep talk to just not be a lunatic while he's gone for 10 minutes.
Yeah,
and he was like you can't be doing that stuff you were doing back at the bank, like shooting people, whatever. He's like, I need you to just watch or don't do anything. Yeah, of course he couldn't help himself. He's just a sick individual. And like you said, I think that's actually, what Tarantino is up to, like at least in his head.
In his head, absolutely. And he just creeps me out, man. I think it's his voice that does it for me.
He's got a real nasally voice.
Real light, and it's creepy. Like, come here, sit on the bed with me.
It's a little shaky, like a little wavering, and
just the worst. And like, if he wasn't such a great talent, he'd probably be my hated face of the day because like his eyes genuinely make me uncomfortable. He has that look where like if he was a real person in the room, I probably would have to look away. Like there's like creepy intent in his eyes.
His little beady eyes.
Yeah, and it intensifies itself in this movie. Because for the obvious reasons, because of the rape and the killing and everything. But yeah, overall, I enjoy seeing him in the movies because it's cool, but at the same time, like he had a larger role than I would have liked.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna say like it's cool when he makes his little cameos, but once he becomes like an actor that gets listed like in the immediate credits, it's like, I don't know if I need all that.
Right, and he was in a solid amount of the movie, probably half, right?
Yeah, a little. Yeah, about round and a half before it all went to shit. But
right,
yeah. So he was a major, like he was in this movie more than Mahershala Ali was in Moonlight. that's a fact.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So I mean, they're at the motel and they end up bumping into Jacob or Harvey Keitel and his family. I just want to talk about the family.
The Asian boy?
Bit. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Talk about the Asian boy. I could tell by your face that you wanted to go.
Because I was going with squinty eyes. Is that why? Yeah. What the fuck is up with that?
I don't know.
Why? Like I don't. It's like white dad, white daughter, Asian son.
Yeah, I think it's a religious thing, dude. Religious people are weird. They, they'll do things like adopt an Asian boy. Like, no one in their right mind. Like, if anything, you adopt an Asian girl because those are the ones that get neglected, right? The female babies are the ones that get thrown out in Asia.
They get thrown into the river or something. Yeah,
I don't know. Totally weird. Had the dorkiest fucking haircut in the world.
Yeah, he was such a lame.
Yeah,
he was just like.
Yeah,
everything he did was just like he was a pussy.
Right. I mean, his demise was incredible, but
yeah, that was great.
He didn't really add too much. My favorite scene was actually not the way he got killed, but when he got a gun stuck in his mouth. Do you remember that?
When they first took him hostage, right?
Yeah. Literally. fucking George Clooney sticks a gun in this little Asian boy's mouth, and he goes, "You two a couple fags?" I lost my mind. I absolutely lost my mind. And I was just trying to visualize like shooting that scene. Like imagine how many times they started cracking up laughing.
You two a couple of fags.
Yeah. So that was, that was a hilarious scene in general. And obviously Harvey Keitel, I guess, plays kind of a different character than he usually does. I've rarely seen him in this kind of role, I guess you could say. He's usually kind of large and in charge and always like a boss. In this one, he's just kind of like a pretty average preacher, definitely poor, driving around in an RV with like two weird kids. So, like,
yeah, no, I mean,
his normal role.
When I think Harvey Keitel, I'm thinking The Wolf.
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
And instead, he's just kind of this like lame single dad, like used to be preacher.
I picture him as Mr. White all the time. To me, he's Mr. White.
Okay, yeah, Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah. That's probably my favorite Harvey Keitel because he's just the scenes of him and Quentin Tarantino just like smoking a cigarette in the bathroom, and they're just like going back and forth, pure gold.
That's that's one of his better movies for sure.
Yeah.
But
so, Harvey Keitel gets introduced. They kind of, take they do take these people by hostage. And one thing I noticed kind of throughout the intro is, we were talking about how Harvey Keitel doesn't really fit his normal role. Neither does George Clooney, because when do you see George Clooney as a bad guy, and a violent bad guy for that matter? He's always good and funny and kind of witty and sarcastic.
Right.
Usually on the good side of the spectrum, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, one of the only bad guy other roles I could think of is him in Ocean's 11, but even then, he's not violent.
He's not a bad guy. You like him.
Right.
Not that you don't like him in this movie, but you definitely don't always like him in this movie.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, he has his moments in this, but definitely Ocean's 11. I mean, he's the protagonist. He's the main character. He's stealing from the big bad casinos. It's almost like a Robin Hood kind of thing.
Right. By the way, he does look like a fucking boss with a neck tattoo.
He does. He should seriously consider getting an actual neck tattoo.
There's very few people I like with tattoos. He's one of them. I think he'd look like a boss with some crazy ass tats.
Absolutely. I was thinking of getting a neck tattoo. I don't know what you think of that, but
yeah, I mean, just accept the fact you'll never have a good job, and if that's what you want to do, I mean, I'll support it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just have to wear turtlenecks when I'm at work, but just cover it up. So neck tattoo, we'll table that for later. We'll talk about that later. But the Gecko brothers, they take the Keitel family hostage or whatever their names are.
Yep.
And the plan is they have a guy in Mexico who's supposed to pick them up and bring them to Monterrey, I think it was, some Mexican city. And they're going to meet at, now, correct me if this is wrong. I'm trying to remember the name. Is it the Titty Twister?
I think it is the Titty Twister, yeah.
Okay, I was between that and Purple Nurple, but Purple Nurple.
No, definitely not Purple Nurple.
So the Titty Twister is the bar.
Yeah.
Like just the most depraved, like trucker bar you'll ever see.
Yeah.
The Cheech Marin is out front, and he's talking about all different kinds of pussy. He's like, we got smelly pussy, we got cheap pussy, we got hairy, like all the pussy they have every pussy you need.
By the way,
like,
that little bit, that little scene is in a Action Bronson song. I don't know if you remember it.
Oh, is it? That's probably where you got it from. Then.
Yeah. But just a great scene. Like it's one of those scenes where even if I haven't seen this movie many times, or probably all at once for that matter, it's like seeing like you vividly remember, and every time you listen to it, you're like, there it is. That's where that's from.
It's kind of hard not to remember it.
Yeah.
All the pussies flying around.
Yeah. And why did we ever figure out why he beat up the pussy guy? The pussy guy did nothing wrong. He was doing his job announcing the menu of the day, and George Clooney just beat the crap out of him.
The puss du jour.
Yeah, like that's got to cause some problems. Like when you're going into a place where you're doing some business, Like the last thing you want to do, like rule of thumb, business wise, is beat up the pussy guy.
Definitely want to avoid beating up the pussy guy, especially when you're a gringo walking into a Mexican trucker bar.
Yeah, no, you're a stranger to the facility. Like you don't know where you
Yeah.
are. You're meeting some mafia guy to exchange money. Like you're gonna blow up your spot by beating up the pussy guy. Like day one.
Yeah, and I never even thought of it like that. Like he really had no reason to beat him up. He just kind of walked up to him and punched him in
Like
the face.
the pussy guy was clearly trying to get people to come in. Like
Yeah.
yelling like we got all this pussy is like, come on guys, come in here and like, you know, buy some drinks, spend some money. Go beats him up. All of a sudden he's a feminist.
Hey, don't
talk about them like
Yeah.
that, women.
She's a nice
Feelings.
lady.
She's a nice lady. So again, this adds on to the tally of things I did understand. But you know, this movie was clearly written in one night in a basement while they did drugs.
Yes, lots of drugs.
This doesn't seem like a work of art that was slaved over for more than a couple of days.
I give him a week. I give him a week. They worked on it.
Yeah,
a week.
I agree.
Just kind of working out more of the actual special effects in the second half of the movie, maybe.
Yeah, I'd be like, how bad should we make these special effects?
How bad are we trying to go with this?
Right.
Yeah.
You want to jump into special effects real quick?
Okay. Yeah, let's go. What do you have in mind?
Feels that deserves a couple reviews for sure. Totally ruined the movie. I don't know if this was made in the late 60s or not, but like I understand you're going for a classic feel, you're going for this, you're going for that, but to purposely put really bad CGI and special effects in does nothing for me. Like maybe there's those, you know, like what you want to call them, you know, fantasy geeks out there that appreciate the, you know, the bad special effects with the fantasy monsters and stuff like that. Don't appreciate it at all. Like if you're in 1996, there's 1000% better special effects you would use for a movie like this. I'm sorry, it was just stupid.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it definitely wasn't cutting edge. That's for sure.
I mean, bro, come on. We can agree that even with the same budget, they probably could have put in good, decent special effects. They were definitely going for that vibe. They were going for that, like, you know, we don't really give a shit.
Yeah, I agree with that, but at the same time, keep in mind this was 20 years ago, and we've come a long way in the last 10, 15 years. So, like I said, I don't think it was cutting edge by any means, but
I could have made better special effects with iMovie.
Well, yeah, but they didn't have iMovie back then.
Still, I shouldn't be able to make a better special effects than that. I don't know. It just bothered me. And there's other movies where it doesn't bother me. I mean, there's a lot of movies that I like that have, bad special effects, but they deserved it because they lived in that time period. I think in 1996, there were better special effects than that. Now, I don't know this for a fact.
Yeah. We'll have to go back and look at we'll go look at the Oscar nominations for special effects in 1996.
Yeah. Guarantee this movie wasn't on the fucking list.
Spoiler, it is.
No way.
No, it's not. It's not. What's next? Oh, so they go to the titty twister and they just start drinking. Well, Seth really starts drinking.
Yeah.
And then Selma Hayek comes out for her dance, which it's something special. I'll tell you that. The dance. She comes out with the full like boa constrictor, python, whatever you want to call it, wrapped around her.
Yeah.
Doing her and see this is how you know she's a special woman, special lady. The fact that she, especially in this day and age, like with the amount of nudity that's everywhere, like for it to be able to move the needle without having to take off any clothes, that's how you know it's something special.
Yeah. No, I hear that. Very rare, but like it's also because we know who she is. She's famous. We rarely see her in that form. I mean, when do you remember seeing Selma Hayek looking like that? So like, yeah, it's a little it's a flashback. It's a whole bunch of different things.
Right. And like we
Definitely.
said, also because it was like her peak. Like now she's like
Yeah.
50, but back then that was like
Right.
that was her peak.
Right. And I always thought she was attractive, but she was never one of my favorites. But I was always judging her off the past 10 years, which is unfair. Like, I didn't know she was like that.
Yeah.
But
I mean, she looks like she could have been 35, like right now.
right. Yeah, 100%. So yeah, shout out to Selma. Keep doing your thing.
Absolutely. And then that's where the foot scene,
The main foot scene, yeah.
the main foot scene comes in.
Yeah.
I don't want to start hopping around the feet again, but this is kind of where. So you could definitely, I mean, yeah, you could split this movie up into two parts. There's the normal first half,
Yeah.
and then there's I don't even know how to describe it. Mindfuck second half.
Corny ass CGI half.
The corny ass CGI second half.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everyone just starts turning into vampires. Let's just get to it. Everyone just starts turning into vampires.
Yes.
All hell breaks loose.
Starts with Selma. She turns into like a lizard vampire. Apparently, like vampires turn into types of animals as well now. But yeah, she's the first one to turn. They start like popping up like wildfire. And like again, I've seen this movie in bits and pieces. Never really watched the whole thing. I knew it was about vampires, obviously by the title and everything. But by the time I was watching the movie, I forgot halfway through that there were going to be vampires in it. And then it kind of took me by surprise because it's weird. Like I think if the movie just went on without vampires, it probably would have been a lot better. Like there was a lot of cool ways it could have gone. If they just stuck with a story about two robbers escaping to Mexico. But no, we had to go into this weird sci-fi ass bullshit. And I don't know, it just kind of turned me off from the movie. I didn't watch it as attentively when all the vampire stuff started happening. There were still some cool violent scenes, but aside from the violence, I don't think anything was added to the story or the acting or anything else we can discuss.
Yeah, no, I mean, the thing with the second half, I totally understand what you're saying, but me personally, I just kind of liked how ridiculous it gets. Like it's like a normal movie, whatever, blah blah, and then all of a sudden, everybody's vampires, just like limbs going. The guy in the mariachi band just playing like a human torso guitar. Like, where did he get that from? Who knows? Like,
yeah,
it was just wild. It was kind of freaky. And I don't know. Sometimes I like to get a little freaky. What can I say?
Yeah, see, I mean, I disagree because there's many Tarantino movies that get to that level of disturbed and non-realistic, and I can go on, but this one I just don't feel was executed as well. Even the gore was very fake. It was a lot of like explosions when there didn't really need to be explosions. That didn't really fit well. I know that's Tarantino style. Like when someone gets shot, they explode. But I feel like even that golden nugget of genius was almost ruined in this movie. Again, it was just a low-grade Tarantino movie that wasn't on paper directed by Tarantino because, it makes sense. I mean, he's probably one of the best directors of all time. He's not going to give someone else his best material. So this guy probably just kind of got, the B- stuff.
Yeah, well, I think with these two guys, whenever they get together is when they do like ridiculous stuff. Like they did this, they did, the Grindhouse movies that had, what was Death Proof, and then the Planet Terror.
Yeah.
So when they get together, they kind of do that. That's their style. When they work together, I guess they're kind of like corny, over the top.
Right, but Death Proof, I didn't think was this level of corny.
No, yeah. It definitely wasn't this corny, but that's because there also wasn't vampires. It was like, even though it was kind of a ridiculous story, it was believable. So,
right.
It wasn't like make believe kind of in a sense. So I see what you're saying. But yeah, so I want to talk about Sex Machine a little bit.
All right.
We'll talk about Sex Machine. And this is another big reason why I like the movie, because I like Sex Machine. He looks like a sex machine. He looks like someone who would be called Sex Machine.
Yep.
And the fact that he has a dick gun.
Oh, the
There's
dick gun! I forgot
the
about
dick
the
gun.
dick gun.
Yep, he has the dick gun. It just kind of like pops up out of his pants. He's ready to shoot. That he carries around a whip. That guy that carries around a whip is a crazy move.
It's a power move, is what it is.
It is a power move, and he knows how to use it. So
Yeah.
I guess if you know how to use a bullwhip, use a bullwhip. But it's just the way him and the black guy. I think his name was Frost.
Yeah.
Murdering vampires. It was just those two guys. I've never seen them in anything else. They were made for those roles.
Yeah.
They were just like, that's them.
That's
especially once the black guy started telling Nam stories.
Yeah, it came full circle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of all I had on Sex Machine. I just wanted to give him a shout out because
no, he deserves it. And obviously, he's full of leather everywhere. I mean, it was done perfectly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so the vampires break out, and then they kind of slowly get picked off one by one. Well, Richie's the first one to go because he gets bit by Selma.
And he dies in every movie he's in, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, well, not Pulp Fiction.
What?
Pulp Fiction. He's. I mean, he has a small role in that, but
he doesn't die. Well, he definitely dies in Reservoir Dogs. He dies.
Reservoir Dogs. He dies. Yep.
I think he also dies in Django, if I'm not mistaken.
He was one like the slave.
Yeah.
So he probably dies.
But regardless, I mean, he was in that movie way too long anyway. But doesn't he gets killed by Selma?
Yeah, well, she
jumps on him.
Yeah, she jumps on him, and
he's got a lot of Selma action.
Before that, he gets re-stabbed in the hand where he got shot, which I thought was just kind of funny. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like it finally kind of stopped bleeding, and then you just open it right back up.
Yeah.
But he dies. Then I want to say the black guy dies. Then Sex Machine dies.
No, I think Sex Machine bites the black guy. So I think Sex Machine goes first. He doesn't really tell anyone, obviously, and then he turns kind of privately in the corner. He sneaks up behind the black guy, bites him, and then hell breaks loose again. And then Harvey Keitel and the little Asian boy kind of follow suit. Obviously a couple cool violent scenes. At this point of the movie, as I said, I was kind of like over it. So I was like watching, but not like attentively watching. But there was, a couple cool violent scenes with like the shotgun cross was cool. I love the fact that the Asian boy had condoms filled with water and a little water gun. Thought that was
a little holy water super soaker.
Yeah. There was definitely creative violence, which can always be expected with a Tarantino inspired flick. With the green slime popping out of them and like them busting into flames with, half skull faces. I mean, it was a low budget horror movie from the 80s for the last 20 minutes. I
pretty much sums it up. And there's not even like much in terms of plot points to talk about because it's basically just like
them fighting off an entire house of vampires. Yeah,
right, exactly.
Which look more like zombies than vampires. Can we say that?
Yeah, they're definitely a cross. I mean, they're more intelligent. They could think. It seems like, but
for sure.
They look like zombies. I don't know.
Some turn into animals. Some have like only a distorted face. There's a point where Quentin Tarantino turns where he has this like big like the mask looking mask on, and then like the scene switches and it's just Quentin Tarantino's face with like little fangs, and it switches back and he has like the big bloated head again. So there's like definitely a lot of inconsistencies, which you'd like to think they've done on purpose, right?
Yeah, no, I think with that scene in particular, that's when Seth was looking at him.
So like his brother.
Yeah, that's what it was to me. It was like he didn't see a monster; he just saw his brother with like little fangs. Like he thought it was still his brother in there.
Yeah. No, I see that, I guess now, but at the time it pissed me off. And then what else was weird? Oh, the timeline in which vampires turn into vampires was all fucked up. Some people turned in
Very
5
inconsistent.
seconds. Some people turned in an hour. Some people turned like overnight the next day. Like, I guess maybe it has something to do with your metabolism, but the vampire turnover rate was very inconsistent. Also bothered me a little bit.
Yeah, no, I kind of noticed that too.
Yeah, and again, I'm not a stickler for these things, but I guess this movie kind of annoyed me a little bit when it got so stupid that I had to notice it.
Fair enough. I can't get mad at you for that because I've definitely done that in other movies. Just kind of, well, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, the math is a little wrong on that one. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to think what else.
One more creative way to kill things. I thought at the very end, the disco ball of death was pretty cool.
The disco ball of death. Yep. So so what happens at the end is Cheech shows up again as his third character, and saves the day. They open the door, all the sunlight comes in, and the disco ball of death blows everybody up. That was pretty cool. It blew up the whole titty twister.
Oh, it did. Yeah, I mean, excessive explosions are always a good way to end a movie.
Absolutely. Yes, I mean that's basically it. I thought Harvey Keitel's daughter was gonna run off with Seth.
Yeah, he totally just deaded her too. She
he was
just like, "Nah, I'm good," and drove away in like a shitty Porsche.
I know, and I don't know how old she was supposed to be in the movie, but it's like if you're a white guy who's on the run in Mexico, doesn't know anyone else, and you got this like kind of cute girl that's just like, "Hey, can I come with you?" Like, yeah, sure, come on. Yeah. And if she gets annoying down the road, you can just kind of drop her off somewhere or just like ditch her in the middle of the night. Like, you're in Mexico, she's not gonna be able to track you down.
Yeah,
there's none of that.
I mean, she wasn't looking terrible either. She kind of might have been like 16 in the movie. I don't know, but I mean, it seemed to be pretty cold out for her throughout the second half of the movie.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if she was 16 in the movie, then I said it was a joke. Don't take it seriously.
Yeah.
I'll look it up right now. How old she is?
Oh, how old she was in that movie?
Well, she was born in 73. So 96 would be.
Oh, the vacuum cleaner just turned on.
Okay. 23. 23 she was. Right? 73 to 96?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. Then I take back what I said the second time.
So we're good.
Yeah, we're good.
Good.
We're Gucci. Yeah, so I don't know, I guess unless he's got a little mamacita down there that he's got waiting for him, I don't know. I don't see why you don't take it with you, at least for the first couple of days, see where it goes.
He thought like me, and he was like, wow, this little girl just lost her entire family and she doesn't seem that phased. Maybe she's a crazy person, I'll pass. Because I also realized that really at the end she didn't seem very affected by what happened. She was like, oh, thanks for the cash. Hey, you want to hang out sometime? Like, I don't know. If my adopted Asian brother and my father, Harvey Keitel, just got killed by vampires, I'd probably be freaking out I'd probably be hyperventilating by the fact that I just killed a vampire army, not to mention my entire family died as well. But again, that's just me, trying to think about things rationally.
Now, I agree about being upset about Harvey Keitel being dead, but the Asian kid, I don't think she gave a shit about it.
I was so happy when he got
just kill me.
Yeah, it was great. He was just getting like devoured by 3 vampires. Bitch. They literally just picked him up. Like, I don't know, it was some kind of. They literally picked him up like a chicken bone and just ate him. It was amazing.
Yeah. He was such a blowhard. Like, I forgot what happened exactly. There's one point where he was like arguing with his dad or sister. Someone's like, "But that's wrong. You can't do that. That's wrong."
Yeah, he's an Asian. I mean,
he was trying to get them to turn him into the border patrol or whatever. He's like, "Are you gonna say anything, Dad?" It's like, shut the fuck up, kid.
Yeah,
little loser.
Fucking loser. Yeah,
little loser.
I mean, yeah, I think we pretty much covered everything I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Before we get to the scores, I wanted to do a quick ad.
Okay.
This one's actually a serious ad. I know most of the times we do anti-ads or stuff that we don't really enjoy. But this one is actually for another podcast. I don't know if you're okay with us advertising another podcast on here. I didn't ask you permission first.
You didn't.
I don't know if you want to do free advertisement.
Are they going to advertise back?
Definitely not.
Okay. Well, then I guess who gives a shit? Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So I've been listening to a podcast called Sam Harris Waking Up. And if you're familiar with like the Bill Maher show, Sam Harris comes on like once a month at least. He's an author. Don't really know what else he does. I think he just writes books, but he's a pretty intelligent guy. And I agree with most everything he says. If you can get past his shitty ass, douchey, stupid voice, it's actually a great podcast. I wish like he would write the podcast and someone else would talk because his voice is god awful.
Yeah.
It's literally like the most boring voice you could ever listen to. So like I don't recommend you listening to it in the morning because you might fall asleep and crash your car. But if you can get past his voice, what he talks about is extremely interesting. He's a smart guy. And it's never about the same thing. He's definitely more of a liberal than a conservative when it comes to politics, but he likes interviewing people with a different mindset. And that being said, it's not only political. Like, most of the talk is usually political. He also talks about religion. He's an atheist, but he likes to talk to different people. Most recently, he did an interview with some guy that wrote a book, which I actually plan to read, which is called The Bell Curve, which is basically just about different groups of people and their average IQ scores and what that means to their success rate. So he's basically just analyzing the intelligence of different people and how much intelligence counts or matters in being successful. And he actually got a lot of shit. Like there was rallies and stuff against him claiming that he was a racist because the statistics he found were that white people overall had higher IQs and were more intelligent than other races. And it was just a small portion of the book, but it got so much heat that he was labeled as like a racist Nazi and people would, shunned him. But in reality, he was just, a scientist
reporting the
facts that he found. And the entire book is not even racial at all. It was just a small portion of the book. He just reported what he found, and they labeled him as a racist pretty incorrectly. So the podcast I listened to talked about that. So now I'm going to read the book for myself and see if that's really the case. But quick shout out, Sam Harris, cool guy, terrible voice.
Okay, I'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll get into the scores.
I think you go first.
All right, I'll go first. Now, I heard everything you said. I hear it. I get it. I understand it. I can't say I fully agree. Now, you've never seen this movie before going into it, right?
I never the whole thing. No, there was definitely bits and pieces that I was like, oh, okay, I've never seen that before.
Okay, so I mean, going into it, if you don't know what you're going into, I could totally see how that turn halfway through was just like, what the fuck am I watching?
Yeah.
But I kind of like that. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not. It's not my favorite movie by far, but I definitely enjoyed it. I enjoy the kind of absurdity of a lot of the stuff that goes on. I'm going to go with the 7.3.
7.3?
Yeah.
You lost your mind?
No. What do you got?
7.3? Wow, this is probably going to be our biggest gap in scores probably ever because we're usually pretty close to each other. So right off the bat, I'm going to go ahead and disagree with everything you just said. There's many movies that have a drastic shift in tone and, the second half of the movie being a lot different than the first. And I'm someone that can appreciate that and that likes Quentin Tarantino's quirky, non-conventional style of doing things and his, excessive violence and, not so realistic things. That being said, this is also not directed by Tarantino, so we technically shouldn't even be talking about it.
That's true.
But
All right.
I'm going to go ahead and judge it based on Tarantino movies because that's the segment that we're doing. So that being said, in my eyes, this movie compared to all the other Tarantino's movies that I've seen, which is pretty much all of them, I'm going to land this at a 4.7. And again, I'm comparing that to Tarantino because when we're doing the Oscar stuff, we were comparing the Best Picture to everything, compared to all the movies. So we judged it pretty critically. I'm comparing this movie to the best Tarantino movies, which I've seen. And 4.7 is kind of where I landed on it.
Okay. Let me do some math. Pull up the calculator. 7.3. I totally forgot that it wasn't Tarantino directing. I feel like I need to deduct points for that. But I said my score. I'm going to stick to it. 7.3. So it comes out to a 6.
Okay.
Comes out to a 6. As of right now, it's our worst score. Understandable, especially when the 4.7 dropped on you. Yeah. We got, so right now, From Dusk Till Dawn, 6. Number 3, Death Proof, 7.1 at number 2. And leading the group with a 9.4 is Pulp Fiction, which no surprises there. So we have to pick our next movie. Hold on, where's my sheet? Okay, pen thing. Okay. Okay, so those are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Give me number 1 through 7.
1 through 7?
Yeah.
3.
1, 2. Jackie Brown.
Jackie Brown. Oh,
You never seen that one.
Samuel Jackson. Yeah, this one's good, man. This is a good movie.
Okay, good.
I've actually seen this one pretty recently, but I'm excited to see it again because I liked it.
This is like one of the very few. I think it's the only movie on the list I have. Oh, True Romance I haven't seen either, but those.
I've not seen True Romance either, actually.
Okay, so we have that one. So Jackie Brown.
This one was on Netflix. I don't know if it's still on Netflix.
No,
Quentin Tarantino, dude. I think I texted you about this. There are no more Tarantino movies on Netflix.
Yeah, you were saying that, and I didn't see From Dusk Till Dawn. I didn't check any of the other ones, but that's upsetting. I don't know what.
No, dude, I literally searched Quentin Tarantino on Netflix and nothing.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah.
Maybe he changed his name.
Maybe, or maybe Netflix just decided to eat a bag of dicks. I don't know.
They did that to me with South Park like a couple of years ago. Every single episode of South Park used to be up there, and then one day they just took them all down.
Yeah.
You can't do that to me.
No, that's rude. That really is rude.
Very rude.
And where else can you watch that on your TV? Like that's tough.
Yeah, now
you gotta have the Comedy Central app.
Right. And who the fuck has that?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Jackie Brown. So going forward, things are a little weird right now with my job because I'm working crazy hours. Like it's 10 o'clock right now and I'm dead exhausted. Ready to go to bed because I have to be up at 4. But starting next week, I'm getting later hours, so we'll be able to get maybe more of a set schedule.
Yes.
Not sure exactly what we're going to do yet. I guess we'll see based on where my schedule plays out, where your schedule plays out. We'll get together, figure something out. But we're back. We're not. This isn't like a one-time thing.
No,
like the plan is we're back. We're gonna keep this going. Do the director's nut. So yeah, remember that time.
There you go.
Yeah, you got any Anything to add to that?
No, I mean, it's good to be back. I think we're definitely going to go back to at least a weekly schedule, just to bring some consistency back. We've both had some new things in our life. I've been dealing with a new apartment. You've been dealing with a new job, but it's definitely good to be back. And definitely once a week would be good.
For sure. Once the dust settles, we'll get back. We'll get back at it.
Yeah.
So I guess go follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Bingeaholics Anonymous. Check out the website, bingeaholics.anonymous.com. Are we on iTunes yet?
Yeah, we are on iTunes.
We're on iTunes, and that's
Bingeaholics Anonymous.
Bingeaholics Anonymous. So go follow all that. Like, subscribe, rate, review. 5 stars, even 4 stars I'll take. 3 I'm a little iffy on, but 4 or 5, definitely we'll take those. Any closing words?
Love you, Ma.
All right. Binge responsibly.